don't like to admit when I'm right, and I'm right more often than
That's funny, dude. Sorry if I hurt someone's ears just now. My uproarious laughter at what a ridiculous statement that was.
This is the first one, right?
Yeah.
The one that kicked everything off?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Copy. Michael, I'm about to send you a video, and then we're going to use this video to introduce Kaylee. Okay. We'll do it after I do all the sponsors and after we pray.
If you're going to do sponsors, Nick, I am wearing my AF shirt today for a reason.
I'll let you do it.
Okay.
I'm not in the mood to argue about that.
All right.
I'm really tired, dude.
Well, wake up. We got a podcast to record.
Of driving to hit my goal today to be able to come here on time.
All right.
And I went like West Fort Worth.
I know, man. That driving, man.
I'm telling you, though, I'm loving the new car, though.
Oh, are you?
Bro. You want to talk about corruption, and DFW is the car dealerships.
Oh my gosh, yes. I went to test. We went to, it was your video about the Richardson.
Yeah, Toyota Richardson.
Place. I literally went there to test drive what was it? A Bronco?
He needs a mic. Can we get him mic'd up? Yeah, right there. Pull that mic in. No, just so we can hear you.
No, we went to the Toyota of Richardson to test drive a Bronco. And then I saw your video. Remember, it was like way back.
Was it that black one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And they didn't even give us the time of day because I was like, well, I'm not going to buy it right now.
You should have made a video and tagged me in it. Like, Nick was right.
Yeah. Well, that was before I went. And then I saw your video and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. What's wrong with this place?
I had a guy reach out to me. His name is Josh Boltinghouse, and he's built like a house. Bodybuilder who has auditioned for Superman in the 2006 Superman. Oh. And I haven't talked to him in 2 decades, and he just sent me a text like, hey, Nick, you live in DFW? I was like, yeah, man. Saw your video. Wish I would have known about that 5 years ago because I bought a Highlander from them. And I was like, I'm sorry, bro. If I would have known, I would have done it.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me okay? Because I can't hear me okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, okay.
We can hear you just fine, Nick.
All right. All right, good.
Are we going?
So glad.
Oh, we're up? Okay. I apologize, everyone, if I'm not as enthusiastic, but I'll turn it on here in a minute. Welcome to Nick's Right Podcast. This is the Nick's Right Podcast where Nick is always right. Old millennial, and Gen Xer.
Gen X.
I'm going to be saying a lot of ums tonight. We have a special guest. We're not going to introduce her just yet. We want to pray and talk about our sponsors, and then we'll introduce our special guest. I think some of you have seen her because she has definitely gone viral for exposing a lot of corruption that's happening in Texas. So, Lord Jesus, thank you for this time. Thank you for this day. Thank you for a productive day, because a productive day it has been. I ask you to bless this podcast, and may you be glorified and honored and praised in everything we do and say in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Patriot Mobile.
What about them?
Patriot Mobile.
Yeah.
Best mobile service out there. Go to patriotmobile.com/NRP. Get a free month. Live Audio. LIVV Audio. I am so embarrassed once again, because I forgot my...
Why, Nick? Why are you embarrassed?
I forgot my cord, dude.
Say it out loud.
I forgot my cord, and I know I ring on Nick all the time for forgetting his stuff.
That's right.
I think, Michael, I think I'm going to get 2 more cords and just leave them with you. And he's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. It's a pretty good idea.
I mean, why not? So, Live Audio, LIVV Audio. These are premium headphones. They were made by an ex-NFL player who was also an ex-Sooner, Mark Clayton, star wide receiver, and he wanted to create a pair of headphones that were for the active music
lifestyle
listener. Yeah,
yeah, that thing too. Whichever.
They're meant to not fall off whenever you're doing a lot of active work in the gym, free running, athletic running through walls.
They're awesome. They stay on your head really well, like they're Velcroed.
They do.
Yes. All you got to do is shave your head, put Velcro strips on there, and they don't come off, man. Trust me. I know. LIVVaudio.com, code NRP for a 15% discount. Absolutely. Hey, Nick, ask me about my shirt. Go ahead. Ask me.
What kind of shirt are you wearing, Nick?
I'm wearing my Anytime Fitness shirt. This is where I work. I am not only the head personal trainer there, but I'm also the office manager. And it's first of all, it's located in Grapevine, Colleyville area on Hal Johnson Road.
Johnson. It's not
What's wrong with Hal? Why are you always correcting the way I say things?
Because that's how it is. It's Hal Johnson.
You got them big lips, them big old fish lips. You pronounce you mispronounce half your words, man. But do I ever correct you?
Well, yeah.
I do, don't I?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Okay, sometimes I do. But go to Anytime Fitness in the Grapevine, Colleyville area on Hall Johnson Road.
We actually
Come talk
both
to
work
me.
out there, and Nick is the manager there. He's also the personal trainer there.
That's right.
And
So
he trains me very frequently.
yeah.
So-
I get you to shut up and hurt. But
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, come see me. Tell me that you saw my podcast. I'm going to take the $89 activation fee off. I'm not going to charge. Free. I don't care what they say. I'm going to give you a
He's never
10%
been
discount on your monthlies. Come talk to me. And if you want personal training, I'm going to take some dollars off the top too.
He makes fun of me whenever
of
I'm doing that with
Quite a lot
our
of them.
sponsors, but he has one sponsor and he
Quite a
just
lot of
goes nuts.
This is the first time I've ever got to do a sponsor, bro.
Okay.
You got to cut me some slack.
right.
I cut you a lot of
You do.
slack.
You cut me a lot of slack. All right, we're gonna go ahead and watch the video that made our special guest.
Who is our special guest?
Special guest is okay to say.
Who is she, by the way?
Well, I'm not going to introduce her just yet. I want to show the video, and then we're going to introduce her. Go ahead with the video. If
Okay.
you could put it like we're a reaction, is that okay? No. Yeah. Okay.
See how cute this house is in Frisco, Texas? It'd be perfect for a family. A suburban dream. There's actually 5 different businesses registered to this one house, ranging from a nonprofit to for-profits to a tech company. And you'll also be glad to know that there's over 50 people who've already been approved through the H-1B visa system to work for this company. And with salaries of over $100,000 a year through this company that's registered through this suburban house in Frisco, Texas, you'll wonder why you're working your regular 9-to-5 job. Unfortunately, this is already the second suburban house we've found that is registered to a bunch of different companies. Where are they getting their money? Where are they running their companies? Guess we'll just have to find out. See how cute this house is in Frisco?
Wow.
Awesome. That is Kaylee Campbell. Campbell.
Like the
Okay.
soup.
Like the soup. Campbell
Yep.
soup. Kaylee Campbell. Now you can turn on the voice.
That is some quality journalism right there.
Thank you.
That is
Yeah.
not bad.
Thank you
That's
so much.
very, very
Kaylee
informative.
is blown
And-
up
Yeah.
after that video. She's made several videos since then, and I've actually reacted to a few because I'm like, gosh, she's already done all the work. I'm just going to show it again. Because I don't know if you guys understand this, but reaction videos are the lazy way of getting the same information out.
Yeah. But that's
Yeah.
okay.
I'm okay with it. I do so many videos a day that sometimes I forget. I remember something. I can't remember what I said, but I do remember saying something in the second video of the day. I was like, hey, Kaylee, reach out to me or something like that.
Yep.
And then was it you that saw the video and said, hey, I think he's trying to find you?
Oh, yeah.
You were
My
doing a
boyfriend showed it to
Somalian
me.
piece.
Yeah.
Something on Somalia, weren't you?
No, I was actually reacting to what she just talked about, which was the H-1B visa thing. We're going to talk a lot about that today. So far, how many of those houses have you? By the way, tell us a little bit about yourself, Kaylee Campbell.
Well,
Campbell.
Campbell. Like the soup.
Like this. Sorry.
Yep. I'm going to keep saying that.
Kaylee Chicken Noodle.
Yeah, there we go. That works. Well, I sit in my car and my videos all the time.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff going on right now in the DFW area. You never run short on content to make, but
Yeah.
I just, I give my opinion. I say my 2 cents and people take it and they react to it like you.
Wow.
And then they also get involved in the community, which is nice. I've seen that recently.
How
Love
did
it.
you catch on to this particular video or this particular story? Was it the Nick Shirley thing that kind of spurned you on, or were you just running solo? Or
It was a little bit. I don't remember like what my old videos were about. A lot of them were, my faith-based content and stuff like that, but still involving politics. And, I saw the Nick Shirley stuff blowing up in Minnesota, and then I wasn't really active on X up until recently. And I just decided to, start my account again and log on there because that's one of the fastest ways to find out information. But a lot of people were just talking about it, reposting it, talking about it, sharing it. And I started looking into it, and it's like a rabbit hole. It's literally a rabbit hole.
When you say looking into it, is there like a resource that you
Oh, it's
use
all public
that other
record, right?
people can
Yeah.
what is that public record? What
Well, thankfully, Nick Plum is running for Congress down in South Texas.
another Nick?
Yeah, another
You
Nick.
get all these
All right.
nicks on here.
Got all these
Yeah.
Nicks.
He's great. He created this whole resource where you can go to, I forgot, it's like visa reporter dot something.
Oh, that's cool. He
Yeah.
created that resource?
Yeah, you can
Oh.
go in, it shows a map of the US, and then it pulled data from like a bunch of the H-1B visa registered website, or not websites, but like houses, addresses, businesses. And then it shows you US, you zoom in, you go to Texas, you zoom in closer, you can go to Frisco, you can go to any city in the US, and you can go and click on them. And one I was showing people earlier, we clicked on it and it showed up on this random street. probably connected to a corporate building, like kind of like, this one, but it showed 42 different LLCs registered to that building. And they were all in the same suite. It all said Suite 100. I'm like, how many do you have to have in one suite?
You showed a map one time on one of your videos where it was showing all the approved H-1B visas.
Yes.
And it was like concentrated, not just not just in DFW, but in Texas.
Yes. Yeah. It was like the entire state of Texas was just outlined in the H-1B visas. And I've seen it circulating since then.
Wow.
So I wonder what happens after someone like you or Nick Shirley or whomever comes along and exposes a house or a business or a location that's got so many LLCs attached to it. What happens after they get exposed? Do we know? I mean, is there an investigation going on? Can we spur an investigation?
Well, there's someone else who's actually gone to these addresses, and I was trying to figure out before the show started who that was. But it was a brunette. She put up videos where she's actually knocking on doors.
Sarah Gonzalez. Yeah.
Is that Sarah Gonzalez?
Yeah.
Okay.
She went to that one viral house. I think it's the same one that's talked about in the video. She went to the 10103 Promontory Drive. That's like
the guy that
house.
opened the door and said, "I'm going to call the cops."
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And it was like it takes one. It just takes one perfect example to show and kind of expose what else is going on. And then since then, there's other videos circulating around on X of people going to like pizza shops who are only hiring F1 visa students.
Leering centers and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. We're going to get more leering centers when they keep building these mosques. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and we are going to talk about the Islamic takeover that's happening in Texas because you actually pointed out something, and you've had a lot of people message you because of the information that you're putting out there. I've had a lot of people message me because I think I just did a video today where people are commenting and they're messaging and they're sending me all this stuff about how they're not holding back even the information or trying to hide in the shadows anymore. They're just doing it. And there's so many mosques that I see as an Uber driver. And it's always in Frisco and the Plano area.
Yep.
Like
It's
that's
disturbing.
Well, here's my theory, and we can talk about the theory. My theory is, and I think someone else has said this on whatever social media platform, but my theory is the reason why Islam is trying to take over Texas, for one, they know that we'll probably turn our cheek because it's a red state. So they're like, oh, they're not going to bite an eye. It's a red state. And so that's why they're starting here, and they started under the radar. And I do think that they started with Texas because Texas is strategic to taking down the entire U.S.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So if you take down Texas, well, Texas has one of the highest economies in the U.S. If you take Texas economy away from the U.S., it cripples the U.S. economy. And so if you can conquer the main hub of the United States, that means you have a stronghold that we have a hard time fighting against because Texas has one of the biggest military presence, one of the biggest infrastructures of factories. We have the access to the Gulf when it comes to trade. I mean, it's got everything. So
yeah, when they were doing the whole Texas, what is it? Texas segregation, not segregation, separation.
Way to show your age,
from
Nick.
Dude, this was like this was like a year and a half ago, bro.
I want some
what
water.
Are you talking about?
I think
what are you
forgot about me.
Are you a year and a half or like what? No, I always said it. If Texas left the United States, that would be the end of the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, because of the strength, we're like the bedrock. Not California. California's not.
No.
California has a larger
can fall
economy.
off the face of the planet.
California's already gone. It's like New York's gone, California's gone. Texas is the only piece of the puzzle left to keep the United States the way that it is, which is not that great right now.
Yeah.
But
we've also got 51 electoral votes or something like that. If we left, it would the United States would turn blue. In the next election.
Scary. God,
because just because of that fact right there. But I mean, honestly, I'm more worried about the Islamic takeover.
Well,
than us
speaking of the Islamic takeover, because she revealed some stuff about Greg Abbott.
Oh yeah,
and I had
good or bad?
Bad. What do you think
about Greg Abbott? Really?
About Greg Abbott. Now, this is all alleged and speculation because we don't actually have any hardcore proof. Correct?
Other than like the donations that he's gotten.
Other than the donations, because I've had contradicting people reach out to me saying different things about this donor.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've had his pilot reach out to me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and he sent me a picture of him with Greg Abbott and the guy and everything, and so I was like, okay, you want to come on the pod? He's like, I'm not ready to do that. I was like, okay, but he was basically confirming a lot of what you said.
Oh, okay, good.
Not in the okay. He was trying to say that he's not the best gentleman, if you know what I mean.
That Greg Abbott isn't, or his donor?
The donor.
Oh,
the donor.
Yeah.
He didn't confirm or deny if he actually is Muslim, but he said it wouldn't surprise him.
Yeah.
And then
I have also heard contradicting things about his religion specifically.
Yeah. Well, I have people, because, people like
Greg
to hide
Abbott's religion?
No, the donor.
The donors.
I think his name's like Savad
Yeah.
Anwar.
Say no more.
Hardware. Yeah.
Say no more.
Well, he owns an energy company in Midland.
Yeah.
And it's an oil
company in
oil
Midland.
company in Midland.
Yes.
And he has been the biggest major donor of Greg Abbott since I think Greg Abbott's been governor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he technically comes from a Muslim country,
Pakistan.
So
Pakistan.
$6 million in Greg Abbott's 2022 election, $5 million in his 2024 election, and
So
so
what do you-
far $2 million in this election.
Yeah. So what's going on? Give me your opinion.
My opinion is Greg Abbott is bought and paid for by some Pakistani man.
Yeah.
It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
read between the lines there, Nick, or you just had to give it to you spoon fed.
I would like to give our guest a moment to speak. To be honest with you, Nick. I mean, it's kind of the polite thing to do.
Shut up, you jerk.
I mean, it's bad. It's great to laugh about it, but when you think about how consequential it is that he may allegedly possibly be sold out by this man who is donating millions and millions of dollars and has for years now. How much influence does that guy have on what Greg Abbott is?
On what Greg Abbott does. Do you know of any policies he's done or bills that he's passed
that's where it
or
gets
anything?
confusing.
Well, my video today talked about 7 bills that were passed in the House that had ranged from Muslim holidays being celebrated to, I guess, what was it? It was holidays. It was something about
Can
halal
you send me that
foods.
video real quick?
Yeah.
And I'll send it over to Michael.
Wow. Well, since we're asking obvious questions that have obvious answers, let me ask you another one, Kaylee.
Yeah.
This video that you did where you found 50 LLCs attached to one homestead
51?
or house,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
What's actually going on? What, in your opinion? And I'll come to you next, Nick, if I have to, because you're looking at me like, oh,
I'm looking at you because I want to troll you real quick, because you notice how he gets real dramatic in his questions.
Yeah.
Like, we're not on set shooting a movie. Just ask the daggum question. You don't have to pause.
But it's good.
Kaylee,
It creates
what
the suspense.
is happening in that house? The house of 3 gables.
He's actually a really good voice actor.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hit me. Hey, butter me up after you knock me
that
down.
Did I send it to you?
I don't know. I'm not getting it.
I texted it
Oh,
to
you
you.
did. I'm on Do Not Disturb. Go ahead.
Okay.
You guys.
So what is actually happening?
What I think is actually happening is many companies in Texas that are big tech companies, could be AT&T, could be Verizon, could be T-Mobile, are having I don't know, deals with these smaller tech companies. One of my questions, that's just an ongoing question, is why do we have so many tech companies in general? Somebody responded to me and was like, well, we need more. And I'm like, I don't think we do, because if you look at how many are just in Frisco, I don't think we need that many.
Yeah.
But they're like working with these big tech companies and having H-1B employers come in, 1, because we'll pay them less, 2, because I guess the Indians like to hire like-minded individuals. They only stick within their realm of
Like smelling individuals. Go ahead, keep going.
yeah. There are some companies that have already been exposed for only hiring Indians. Imagine if white people did that. Just saying.
Oh man, that's great.
Don't even get me started on how, imagine if white people would build mosques and compounds. Imagine if we just had white only areas in Texas. That would not fly at all.
Let's go. Yeah, it wouldn't. It would be racist.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, exactly.
It'd just be all kinds of racist.
But my theory is, 1, they're coming over here and getting these jobs, getting paid less from these companies. But when you have these deals, so AT&T will allegedly, I gotta be so careful when I say this, they're gonna come at me. AT&T will allegedly take out let's use Qubits Tech Systems LLC as an example. That's the company that's registered to that house in Frisco.
Okay.
AT&T will pay this small LLC X amount of money for 50 H-1B visa applicants. And let's say it's like $500,000. I don't know. That may be completely off.
Wow.
The Qubits LLC, whatever, will pay these Indians a percentage of that, whatever the salary. And it says on the website, the salaries are $100,000. First off, what you're working a remote job with $100,000 salary. You're joking?
That's a dream. Like, I would love $100,000.
Yeah,
I'd like a bunch of taxpayer money too.
exactly. Multiply that by 50. That's a lot of money. So whatever the AT&T company is paying the LLC has to be a significant amount just for them to cover these salaries.
Wow.
And then the LLCs are pocketing the rest of the money. Well, whoever is the CEO or the owner of the LLC, they're buying out these houses in residential areas in really rich neighborhoods and then moving their entire families across from India. Or like I had from a message from a follower, she rents a house from an Indian couple who doesn't even live here anymore. They moved back to India years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And not to mention the biggest issue that I brought up earlier today with somebody else. All of these houses, or a majority of these houses, people have messaged me and they said, hey, I'm getting mail from a bunch of different LLC companies and I have never used them. I've never contacted them. I have no connection to them. Why am I getting mail from 2 to 5 to 10 LLC companies showing up at my house?
AT&T is giving out their information.
Yeah. Well, all of our data is being sold constantly.
Yeah. That's. I think we knew that after the big debacle of Facebook getting hacked and everyone.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
why, that's why they created.
So
Meta.
what do you think their family values are?
Family values, like, what do you mean?
Like Western family values. That's a joke. You don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm about to say. I
we all
think Nick's
know.
trolling
It's
at this point.
I don't think they have it.
It's not a troll. It's a joke.
Is it?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh.
I mean, because it's obvious they are here to undermine our systems. They're starting.
Oh, I completely agree with that.
their-
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they are here. They're here to take advantage of the freedoms that we offer them to destroy
Mhm.
the freedoms and the systems that we offer them.
You
That's
want to
why
know what
they-
another bigger issue is?
Oh, I'd
is
love
that
to. What?
we have the Indian issue, we have the Muslim issue. Well, the Indians also hate the Muslims. The Muslims hate the Indians. So now we've got everybody who dislikes each other all living in a small area together up here in North Texas.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
what
didn't
is
even
going
think
on?
about that.
Yeah.
Because Indians are usually Hindu
Mhm.
and Muslims are, Muslims. He calls them Muslims.
Muzzies.
Muzzies.
They're muzzies. I made it up. So when people go, "What's a muzzy?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's whatever
that
you
code
want it
you
to
have to
be."
use on TikTok.
Yeah, that's
Gotta use
smart.
that code. So we've got, because Hinduism isn't anything like Islam.
No.
Like Hindu, it's pretty peaceful, isn't it?
Well, they're persecuting Christians in India, but they believe in like 50,000 gods and they worship a gold cow. And,
Yeah.
some of them are more radical than others.
But it doesn't say, because I've been doing a lot of study on Islam, and that it doesn't say in their scripture or whatever to actually go out and kill
Right.
Christians.
No, to the
So-
defense of Indians, like they're not actively out trying to make their religion a law above
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah.
They're not doing that.
Yeah. No, so back to the whole Islam thing and Greg Abbott, he actually signed into law to ban Sharia law
Yeah.
in Texas.
And declare CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood terrorist organizations.
So if he's doing that, doesn't that contradict our theory?
Well, it kind of makes
No.
you wonder.
it doesn't?
No, because I think he's just doing it for show.
Okay,
Why
so
would
you're
he?
saying to appease his constituents is what he's doing to
Yeah.
make sure that they don't say like, oh, he's bought and paid for.
Because the majority of these people coming in, all these mosques that are being built, you can't tell me that every single Muslim that's in Texas, for example, doesn't have any ties to CARE or the Muslim Brotherhood. They're all family. They're all related somehow.
Yeah.
They're all like this. If their religion teaches that they only, whatever the word is, live together and, correlate together, they're gonna, it's all tied together.
It doesn't make any sense to me whenever you show a Muzzy. I'm sorry, we have to start saying that. When you show a person who follows Islam and you're like, hey, this is what it says in your book.
Mm-hmm.
It says that men can strike their wives, like they can beat their wives. It says that your prophet married a 6-year-old and then consummated the marriage at 9 years old. This is your guy.
Yep.
Like, and they don't see anything wrong with it.
No.
They're like, oh, that was a part of the time. I'm like, oh my gosh. Are you serious? They try to defend it. I saw this video of this. I don't know if you've seen the black guy who debates Muslims all the time.
No.
I think his handle on Instagram is God Logic.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
He's fantastic. He knows the Quran as well as he knows the Bible.
Wow.
And
That's important for anybody. People need to start reading up on the Quran.
I completely
Absolutely.
agree. And I'm afraid to read it because that's one of those things I have to kind of prepare my heart for. Like I study the word every day. Like that is my daily Jesus time where I just have to kind of set up for the day. And I couldn't imagine actually studying the Quran. I'm like, I don't want this demonic stuff in my brain.
Well, have you ever
Like,
read the Quran? Like
I've
no,
got
I don't want to read
I've
it.
got some verses on my phone I can read you
Oh, great.
that
Here
I
we go.
pulled from a
Yeah.
video.
Well, before
Yes,
you
let's
do,
go.
Yeah.
and I want to use that as sort of a litmus test or a test. I've read parts of the Quran before, and I couldn't make it out. Like the language that they
that makes
use
sense.
is really disjointed and abstract, and it's odd. And it's like watching a Chinese language movie that with the English subtitles, where
Where it doesn't
it's
translate very
it's
well.
like- yeah, it's like they'll say "horsey to the store, milk and dog," and it's like, what? What are you talking about? It's the way the Quran struck me, but I'm curious to see what it says. So go ahead and read it.
All
Listen.
right. We've got chapter 2, verse 98, which says, Allah is an enemy to all non-Muslims. Chapter 3, verse 85 is, no other religion is accepted other than Islam. Chapter 8, verse 12, Allah will instill fear in the hearts of those who disbelieve Islam and Muslims. You
Oh my
cut their
God.
limbs by hitting their necks, which is what we see when ISIS
Yeah.
is going around chopping people's heads off.
Yeah. Well, they're chopping everything off. They chop you in pieces.
Yeah, chapter 3, verse 118, make only Muslims your intimate friend. And then following that, chapter 3, verse 28, and chapter 9, verse 23, which is do not make friends with non-Muslims. Chapter 8, verse 39, fight non-Muslims until the faith of Allah is fully established.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
See, the worst idea in all of human history.
All right, let me just throw out a fact for you guys because there's two big religions out there, and I don't think Islam is a religion. I think it's a political movement dressed up as a religion. That way they can get all the tax-free benefits and whatnot. But when it comes
half
to
the world would disagree with that. They think it's a religion.
but it is a political movement more than anything because it's trying to implement its own law and it's trying to take over countries. Like anyway, because if you want to consider the religion of Islam or political movement to the religion of Christianity, it is a staunch difference, dude. Like, 'cause whenever we go in, we don't take over. We just spread the gospel. And
I made
the
a video
gospel.
about
Well,
that.
there's no
Yeah.
doubt
Yeah.
about
I made a
it, but
video
I
about
mean,
that too.
you could say the same. I mean, you could say the same thing of politics too. When we move in, we don't imperialize. We no longer colonize. We move in, take care of business, whatever the objective is, we're there for, and leave. The Chinese don't do that. They go build a bridge. They keep the country. You know, I'm sure that Muslims do the same thing. So,
Well, when it comes to colonize or imperialize or whatever you want to talk about, that's just basically us going over there and solving a problem and then hoping we building it up to where they can sustain themselves.
sure, yeah.
Okay, but that's not what I'm talking about when it comes to spreading the gospel.
Well, no, all I'm saying is the comparison can be made both religiously and politically.
I get frustrated with him so much. Because, like, I understand what he's saying, but I'm like, dude,
Right.
ugh. But this is why we have a podcast, because we monetize on that. This is what I wanted to say. The two biggest religions out there, Islam,
I'll
besides
just keep my mouth shut.
besides Christianity, Islam and Mormonism. Okay, those are the two biggest ones out there. Two have extreme influence. Mormonism's probably more covert than Islam is. Islam's more in your face.
The only thing I know about Mormonism is the Real Housewives of Utah and the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Well,
They do believe
Well,
in.
and there's space, you die, you get your own planet. And
you
stuff
get your
like
own
that.
planet.
Yeah.
you-
Is that Mormon?
That
Yeah.
is Mormon, dude.
thought that was
There's different
Scientology.
levels.
Wait till you read about what they feel about black people or what they used to feel about black people.
Oh, dude,
Really?
it's-
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just going to give you the gist of
kidding.
what I've
That's-
learned. So, whenever you do some deep diving and learn about Joseph Smith,
Oh,
by the
boy.
way, it says in the Bible that do not add to these words. Like, that's one of the
Sure.
biggest offenses to the Bible is you cannot add to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this Joseph Smith guy goes and creates the Book of Mormon.
he adds to it.
Yeah. There's one strike.
Yep.
The other one is he claimed while drunk and wandering in the wilderness that he saw Jesus and the archangel Michael appear to him and told him to start this religion.
Yeah.
Okay. And then here's the correlation between the two. Both religions, both prophets claim to be visited by an angel of light to tell them to start these religions.
Both.
Who in the Bible is described as the angel of light?
Satan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
he's the prince of light.
well, he's said to be the most. Nick, I don't have patience for it today.
What? You're wrong.
No, I'm not.
That's all.
Gosh, I'm so deprived of energy. Michael, are you back there? No. Okay, I didn't get a water. Can you bring me a water? No, it's all good. Where is it? Where?
Look now.
Where? Oh, never mind. I got it.
God, take a nap, man.
Did you get my text message about queuing up that video? Okay. This is the video. Which one was it?
It was the one about the 7 bills. Not all of them are bills. Some of them are
So
resolutions.
these are the bills that have been
resolutions
passed under Greg Abbott.
Yeah, and some introduced.
Are we going to watch another video?
They're pending.
All right.
Involvement and the impact that the Texas House has had within the Muslim community, starting with all of the bills that were passed in 2025. H.R. 34 was passed on March 13th, 2025, and it recognizes the holy month of Ramadan. H.R. 36 was passed on March 13th, 2025, and that recognizes the holiday of Eid al-Fitr. H.R. 37 was passed on April 21st, 2025, and that commends the Engage Texas Emerging Leaders Program, which has ties to both CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood. H.R. 32 was passed on March 20th, 2025, and that recognizes Pakistani Day at the Texas Capitol. H.R. 182 was passed on February 5th, 2025, and that both honors and memorializes an Islamic figure. H.R. 408 was passed on March 14th, 2025, and that honors Bangladeshi Day.
This is
H.R.
incredible.
256 was passed on March 6, 2025, and that commemorates the 25th anniversary of Harmony Public Schools. Moving on to the ones that have been introduced or may be pending but have not yet passed. H.R. 641 was introduced March 27, 2025, and that's to establish Ismaili Day. H.C.R. 85 was
Can you pause
introduced
it?
March 5th, 2025, and that wants to designate March 5th.
Is Molly Day?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what half of these are, but I know what they're not. They're not Christian.
Well, they're not American.
value
Yeah,
holidays.
Yeah,
I think
none of
the
it's
point of
American.
that is to show you, I guess, the takeover, and it's happening right under our noses because isn't there a lot of Islamic people that are in Congress?
There's 2 main ones. One's name is like Solomon. I don't know.
You're not talking about Zoran.
No. It's like Solomon something.
You're talking about here in Texas.
Yes. He's
Okay.
in the House. I don't know what district he's in. I wrote his name down earlier. It was Solomon. I have so many notes on my phone. It's crazy. Literally, it's so crazy.
My phone is my note taker.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, that video just kind of shows you these are the bills that are just being passed in Texas. And recognizing all these, and then on top of that, they're trying to take the 10 Commandments out of schools. They're trying to make sure you can't pray at schools. You can't pray before a game. You can't they're even trying to take out singing the national anthem. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to erase American culture altogether.
Yeah.
Found it.
So,
Oh, you found it?
Yeah. Solomon Lalani. He actually tried to get 2 bills and 1 resolution passed, but they all died in the House. One to honor Cindy Cultural Day, 1 to mandate halal food options in public schools, and 1 to designation of Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha as optional state holidays. Those died, but
All right, I have to bring
Recipe.
this up. I have to bring this up because it's funny. I had a video that. Do you know what? Have you heard of Clapper? It's a social media platform.
I think so.
Yeah, they're trying to combat TikTok and their censorship.
Oh, okay.
I got censored on Clapper for this video.
Oh.
And you saw it. I was reacting to this video, and it was a Muslim march. I think it was in New York, and someone put a Quran down and like wrapped it in bacon.
Oh, yeah.
And they picked it up, started kissing it, and they realized it was wrapped in bacon.
yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Well,
so
I want to know what everyone thinks is. We see all of these bills, and that's a tip of the iceberg.
yeah,
We see all this corruption. It's not when it starts happening in Texas, it could possibly be happening anywhere.
it is. It's
and
happening.
we know it's
everywhere.
happening in Minnesota. We know it's happening in Dearborn. This is the takeover of our, like you said, our values and our culture.
Mhm.
What do people think is? My question is to the culture and our society. What do you think is happening, and what do you think is going to happen? That this is just going to become a status quo swimming around underneath the surface, and it's not really going to affect anything? Or is there something more dastardly happening?
I know.
Well, no, I think we all do. I think we all do.
Kaylee, gosh.
Dude. Okay, mouth. I think we all do. But I don't hear us asking ourselves these questions at all.
Well, we've been bullied since the Biden administration and beyond that we're racist, regardless of what we say. We're racist, we're mean, we're hateful, we hate everybody, blah, blah, blah. Well, the problem is that now everybody's like, well, you just need to be kind to them. You just need to be nice to them. You need to let them live here because we're a melting pot and we're the land of the free because of the brave and all of this stuff. And now we've allowed so many of them to come in here in the name of being nice and polite that we're facing the repercussions of that. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing that because we have no room to be nice anymore. You can be polite to your neighbor. You can love thy neighbor, of course. But love does not equal toleration, and you shouldn't have to tolerate their behavior, the way they treat America, the way they talk about America. Let's talk about the fact that back in their own countries, they train their children to despise America. And then we just willingly let them come over here because, for example, I heard Frisco is the land of opportunity. Texas is the land of opportunity. The United States is the land of opportunity. No, it's not. It's been established and it's a country that's been functioning, and you're coming over here to take advantage of the country that's been built up for so many years. Yeah. And we're just supposed to take it because we'll be racist.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. But I think there's something worse going on, something more sinister. It's not just the fact that we've been bullied into politeness. There's something more evil happening
can I say
that
something?
we are choosing to ignore, because when you look at it in the face, I don't think we would any longer go, oh, well, I have to be polite. I think we would, as a culture, turn around and start using words like muzzy, get out, and you're not wanted here, leave, and things of that nature. So why are we there? Is it just politeness, or is there something more iniquitous happening?
I think here's what it
because that's what has
happened. I think
that's the terms we need to start using.
Yeah, I think what has happened is that the church has gotten soft. Because what we've basically, and this is what I've seen over the course of my ministry career, was how it was so easy to create an offense, not just for, muzzies or anybody of a different religion, but people in the church. Like, they would get so offended. I almost came tonight with my Wolverine chops. I almost came. I was about to do that. And I say that right now because I remember one year that I traveled in ministry, I actually had the Wolverine mutton chops. And the next year I traveled, they said, no, you need to grow the beard out because that just, it could be distracting. It could create an offense.
Sure. Yeah.
To who?
Exactly. Yeah. I actually had more people come to me and be like, dude, you look like Hugh Jackman. Oh, yeah. It was just one of those like icebreakers.
It's oversensitivity, man, is what it is.
This is what I've concluded is because the church has become so soft and they are just worried about creating offense that we've done the exact opposite of what Charlie warned us about. He said, immigration without assimilation is invasion. And so, therefore, since we have become so soft, especially as the church, because in the church, we're not supposed to tolerate sin. There's a whole method in Matthew 18 of how to deal with sin in the church. But yet, we've let it happen all around us because we can't create an offense.
Well, let me ask you this, Nick, because, I think it should start in the church, but it can't end in the church. Because,
it has to.
Because we've watched it for 1,400 years. We've watched Islam take over other countries by the sword, and then when it was by the gun, it was by the gun. They don't affront. They don't come at you with an affront that the church alone can handle.
So this is what happens whenever Islam does what you just said. Because do you know why we had the Crusades?
Yes, dude.
because of Islam.
Because of Islam.
So therefore, that's what's going to happen again. It's going to be the church. I'm sorry, we're just leaving you out of the conversation.
It's totally fine. You
We're
guys
going to
are
have the church
going great.
rise up, and I think whenever she said, "Yeah, I know what's going to happen," because we both know what's going to happen, we're going to rise up
but that's my whole point. The
But how far do we have to go before
before we
do
actually
rise
start
up?
rising up. Yeah.
What's going to be the fine line that makes people start to wake up? Like how
Exactly.
much worse is it going to get? Essentially,
Yes. And when the church does rise up, they're going to have to push the military because the church doesn't have guns and swords and weapons and stuff.
Yeah. Depends on
if-
what, dude. My dad's church does.
Well, then
Pastor's a cowboy church.
Then I
That's
stand
awesome.
corrected. I think it's going to take more though.
Well, no, what it's going to be, this is what you're,
They're going to come with rockets, bro.
listen, I don't think you're considering.
they're just going to self-combust I think I tweeted that earlier. I said somebody was like, "Aren't you worried about being racist?" I said, "I'm not worried about
They're
being
gonna
racist. I'm worried
self-combust.
about one self-combusting around me."
They've gotten so efficient in
Self-combust.
suicide bombing
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
drink a liquid
No.
that like goes into their bloodstream, and then they just walk in, and then oh, it's Iron Man 3.
Oh my God. No. Yeah, it's I mean, why not? It's that insane.
I mean, they usually it's kind of like the storytelling that we have is usually telling the future in some instances.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, hey, man. Hey, truth is stranger than fiction. So, I mean,
it really is sometimes.
yeah. And by the way, I don't care if people call me a racist. I do not care.
Well, because
We said this during the episode with
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk.
Oh, yeah.
You can call me racist, homophobic. You can call me transphobic. I don't care if you call me a fag. I don't care because I know the truth and Jesus knows the truth. And that's all I care about.
Yeah.
So please come at me with your left-wing buzzwords. Come at me with all of your
we're done.
talking points. I do not care. I don't care. I want you to.
I think,
Yeah.
Nick, the
Yeah.
the start of us rising up was the Charlie Kirk situation. I think that was the start.
Culturally?
Now Nick Shirley has done his thing, which is spurn people like Kaylee to go do the same.
Mhm.
And it's kind of had this effect, this ripple effect that's going. And now I'm seeing more and more creators that are going to these businesses that they've probably seen and be like, that doesn't look like a real business.
Yeah.
And then they're going door to
Yeah,
door.
I mean, I hope you're right. I hope it's a huge national movement that millions of people get involved
Let me
with,
say this,
ourselves
'cause
included.
I know we're all followers of Jesus here, but one thing that we can be rest assured of, Nick, one thing for sure, that God is always on his throne. And whatever is going to happen when it comes to the Muslim takeover or whatever, they are represented by the enemy that's already lost.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, do we have our due diligence? Do we need to do something? Absolutely. And God will call us at the right moment to do that. Now, one thing that we, I think, as Americans struggle with is the absolute struggle and sin of laziness. Because we've gotten so comfortable.
Apathy.
Yeah, we've gotten so comfortable in our bougie living, even though cost of living is stupid in Texas right now. But it's still comfortable. Like I'm comfortable every day.
Yeah.
The thought of going out to knock on doors sounds fun, but then I'm like, I've got it. No, I don't want to.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
You're not wrong.
So, your thoughts?
Well, the other thing about that is, I don't remember if we were talking about it earlier, but it was a conversation also earlier in the day. The reason that certain places in Texas are being more targeted than others, we'll use Frisco as an example, is it falls under the laziness thing because people always think that somebody else is going to deal with it. And they target areas that are like high income. You know, you're driving around in your Range Rover, you're driving around in your G-Wagon, and you're like, well, somebody else will take care of this. I don't have to worry about anything because I got my 4-bed, 3-bath house and I got a gate around it. I don't have to deal with this.
They're lost in self-importance.
Yes, yeah. And so then that's why these groups target these areas, because it tied into also what you said earlier about they'll target red states as opposed to targeting blue states, because it just kind of slides under the rug. You don't look at a red state and think about all of the issues that it has because you're like, oh, well, it's red. They've got a good governor. They've got good people in Congress.
Yeah.
But that's how they get away with stuff. And that's why the people of Texas need to realize that Oh my gosh, don't get me started.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Keep going. We're just sitting here listening.
Yeah.
The people of Texas need to get involved. And that's why I always refer back to my videos. That's why I filmed that video yesterday about how if you want to see different, then vote different. Because the same path that we've been traveling down for the last 11 years with Greg Abbott alone has been a downward slope. And so the only way that Texas is going to get fixed is if people actually start voting in other people that have different morals and values who may put Texas first. And it's just, oh my gosh.
I've always had this hesitation about
You don't
Greg
see him
Abbott.
going to the hood.
No,
Well, yeah.
They ain't
it's true.
moving into the Baltimore hood, man. You're going to Frisco.
It's true. Yeah.
I've always had this hesitation about Greg Abbott just because even during the whole Joe Biden and COVID era, he was never someone who made the first decision. He was always like, let me see if Ron DeSantis makes it, and then I'll follow suit.
That's an interesting perspective.
Because he never did. He never took charge. He would see Ron DeSantis. I can't say his name.
DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis. He would see Ron DeSantis do it, and then he'd be like, oh, he's having a good response. I'm in a red state. Let me do it.
Yeah.
So I think he's more about self and self-image than anything else. Just because I haven't seen leadership from him.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the strong leadership from him that I've seen from either red state governors or the president we have now.
Yeah, I always thought his leadership was pretty strong, minus a couple of decisions that he has made in the past that I didn't agree with, and I wish I could remember which ones they were. But I remember going, "Man, he's a great leader," but yeah, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
But now, all this is coming out with the 72 virgin celebrations and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, dude, where'd that come from? What are you talking about?
The Islamic holiday.
God.
I mean, what if you're a
that for
Muslim? What are you going to
dramatic
celebrate more than that? Muhammad, come on,
Gosh,
dude.
Nick.
72
We're going to
virgins?
end up having a National Muhammad Day watch.
Yeah.
If we have a National Muhammad Day, I think that'll be the first time that I actually go out and protest.
Okay.
I've never done that, and
Yeah.
I've never seen the purpose of doing that, but that would be a good reason.
Oh, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting question because we're watching all of these protests go on, and they're all mostly fiery but mostly peaceful protests, right?
Mm-hmm.
How fiery but mostly peaceful would we at this table be willing to be if there was a National Muhammad Day and they were mandating a Sunday visit to a mosque for everybody?
Ooh.
Would we be willing to go fiery but mostly peaceful?
Now you're talking about the Book of Daniel. You're talking about Shadrach, Meshach, and
Revelation.
Abednego. You're
Yeah, I was thinking of the VeggieTales version.
Yeah.
With the big was it the bunny? And then he throws him in the furnace. I'm trying to think of that whole episode.
Do you know about those stories? Book of Daniel. And
I'm reading about Shadrach right now.
Shadrach, Meshach,
but
and
it's in the
Abednego.
book of Genesis.
They're in the no, Book of Daniel's different. I'm not saying they're the same thing.
Maybe it's Daniel was
Daniel in the lion's den, but he was also forced to bow down to, was it Nebuchadnezzar, the god of Nebuchadnezzar?
Yeah, it's the giant pickle in the episode. But I'm sorry, I'm going to be no help. But yes, the king.
So, and I might be getting my facts wrong. Her facts are definitely wrong. That was a depiction, not the actual thing.
Right, yes.
But no, Nebuchadnezzar was forcing Daniel to bow down to his God, and Daniel refused.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then the same thing happened to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they were thrown in the furnace. They said they would not bow to any other God but the one true God. So he was thrown into the furnace. And then someone, I think it was the king, said something to the nature of, do you see them in there? Do you see all three of them in there? And then someone said, no, there's four in there because they were visited by Jesus.
Oh, yes. I know this story.
And they didn't.
I know
they
the
were
story
actually,
from Bible school.
Of course, they came out of the furnace, which they said that furnace was so hot, you couldn't, when you opened it, it would scorch whoever opens it. It was that kind of hot to where if you were in it, you're dead.
Yeah.
And so it showed that it said in the Bible they were walking around with a fourth person.
Yeah.
And then they walked out of it unscathed. So anyway,
that's awesome. Is that how we approach a protest?
well, here's I love that you brought that up because I want to give you an example of, and we all know this. This is how the right responds to something that they don't like. Like what happened whenever Charlie Kirk?
Everybody prayed.
Right.
We prayed, we worshipped.
Mm-hmm.
that's how we made everything known. And man, did it make a movement out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So therefore, if the government actually does do something like this, I fear for that government. I fear for that governor who actually says it's a mandatory, you have to bow down to Allah, whatever. Like if they, I fear for that person, especially in Texas.
Yeah, because I don't think we'll have a
No.
protest. I think we'll have a war.
We won't have a war. We will have a coalition of either ex-veterans or current veterans. They will organize and they will recruit like-minded Christians.
Mhm.
They will arm them and they will march down and say, you can either shove it or change it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when they say shove it, those veterans are going to blow a bunch of stuff up. We got a war.
Yeah, kind of.
Here's the thing.
The thing.
Go ahead. No,
well,
go
I
ahead.
was going to say the thing about the governor, somebody being put in place as somebody who will mandate that. The thing that people need to pay attention to is that it's going to start local. It always starts
Always.
little. Tomorrow, we're not going to wake up and Greg Abbott's going to be like, all right, National Muslim Day or whatever. It's going to be, look at your city council, because
Yeah.
I've been talking about that a lot.
Yeah, she
Look
has.
at the House,
Yeah.
look at Congress, and then slowly go up the thing, because I don't have any videos of this yet, but I've been told that in the mosques, they're teaching their members how to get involved in local politics. So you're seeing them slowly kind of integrate into local politics, and it's going to start with that. And then once you allow them to be into that, then next thing you know, they're gonna be your state representative, and then next thing you know, they're gonna be representing your whole area, and then it's just gonna go downhill.
And
from
they
there.
will represent that area as a Democrat because
They want the
they want
mindless idiot.
They
What
want
is
the
it?
mindless idiot,
Yeah.
and they
Useful
will
idiot.
prey off of their inclusiveness. They will prey off of that because they're like, we vote left because we know we can manipulate the left.
Yeah.
They've actually said this on camera. And then to your point, I saw a video of a predominant Muslim. I think they were in a mosque, and he's like, no, we actually have to get into politics. That's
Yeah.
how we take over.
one of the imams or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. So yeah,
All right. So
gets
question
frustrating.
for Kaylee.
Oh yeah,
A minute ago, you said, look at your local representation, your
city council.
city council and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't know who my mayor is.
Mhm.
I don't know who my city
Bedford.
council is. I don't know where they meet. I don't know anything. I will occasionally see a picket that says vote for so-and-so
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
for city council.
Mhm.
When you say look into your city council, explain what you mean in terms of how you research that.
So I guess since I've been hyper focusing on Frisco, I can use Frisco as an example.
Sure.
Because they've been in the media recently, the best place to get to know them is simply visit a city council meeting. You can check their agendas online. You can see the types of things that they're talking about. Sometimes you can get ahead of the things that they're going to pass. In Frisco's case, not necessarily, because they like to do under the table deals in closed sessions and then expose everything later on.
Ooh, is that?
That's
can
a
they do that?
whole. Oh well,
I mean,
allegedly.
I thought all this was
Allegedly.
that's my favorite word.
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
right? I thought all of this was public access, that they couldn't hide it from the public.
Well,
They're voted in representatives, right?
yeah, I would,
Kind of like how Joe
highly-
Biden signed everything.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean-
I will strongly urge you. I'm not telling you or forcing you to care about Frisco, but I would highly encourage everybody to look into Jeff Cheney and what he's done in the past few years. Look at his real estate company.
Interesting.
Look at his donations.
Is he a politician?
No, he's a donor.
He's just the mayor of Frisco. He's the current mayor of
No,
Frisco.
so yeah, he's a
Oh,
politician.
Well, yeah.
Oh, wow. So the mayor of Frisco, Jeff Cheney,
Yeah.
look into him.
Oh, yeah.
Looking to Jeff Cheney. Wow. That's interesting.
But see, that's how it starts. That's how it starts in cities. And because of certain people getting elected to city councils, pandering to Muslims, going out at the last second before polls and handing out 400 pieces of paper or literature saying, vote for me, you need to vote for me right now. That's how they win elections. And then they get placed at the last second onto city council, conveniently right before they're getting ready to vote for another mosque.
My gosh.
Okay, I want to tie something in here correlation wise. and it has to do with my recent experience of buying a car. And went to Toyota of Richardson, had a bad experience. And
Where'd you go?
Toyota of Richardson.
Oh, the Toyota of Richardson?
Yeah, Toyota of Richardson.
Toyota
Don't
of
shop
Richardson.
there. Toyota of Richardson. Don't shop
Toyota
there.
of Richardson.
Toyota of Richardson.
Yeah.
So I had a bad experience, and then I made a video about it. The video went 2.2 million views. I didn't think I was going to hit a main artery, but I did. And one of the comments that came through was, I think the owner of that dealership is Muslim.
Oh,
And then I was like, that makes sense. Because they were trying to overcharge me like $9,000 for a used freaking car.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she's looking at her boyfriend saying yes.
Yeah.
And then I thought back to my interaction, and this is not a racial, I'm going to say it anyway. The guy looked Muslim.
Yeah.
That I was
A lot
dealing
of them did. I went there too, and a lot of them did look Muslim.
with. My memory can only see the two guys one was white, one was the guy that I was dealing directly with, and he looked Muslim.
Mhm.
He didn't sound Muslim. I mean, he just looked that way. Now, I'm not saying he was. I'm just saying what I saw. And then someone said that I think that dealership is tied to the mayor of Richardson, and I think the mayor of Richardson is not American.
Ooh, I think I got a message about that. I believe he's a Muslim.
Yeah, that's what I got the same message.
Mm.
Yeah. And so
Yeah, it's
Richardson
so
has fallen.
I really do think, because of my recent experience, I really do think that they have infiltrated somehow through the car dealership industry.
Well, see, down here,
Because
car
it's so
dealerships.
freaking corrupt. Like,
Up in Minnesota, it's leering centers.
well, at least they can spell Toyota here in Richardson.
yeah.
But I am going to put a harmless plug, and I praise these people, and I want to give you the difference. Long ago, Toyota of Prosper, they not only made it seamless. I was in the dealership for maybe 20 minutes. The car salesman I was dealing with, Tony Bailey, awesome guy, Christian. The GM I was dealing with, Daniel, I think Sanchez, also Christian. Grew up, yeah. And the difference of how I've never felt like I was treated like royalty at a car dealership.
Mhm.
That's exactly how I felt at Longo Toyota. So this is what leadership looks like. If you're led allegedly by Islam or Islamic principles, this is how you can expect to be treated. Like I was treated at Richardson Toyota.
Yeah.
Toyota Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
But I go over to this other place that is really on the outskirts because I told the guy the only bad thing about you guys is that you're in Prosper. And it was a drive, and I passed two other Toyota dealerships on the way here. But other than that, they were the best experience buying a car. They came off the price. They got me an even better option than what I was looking for. And I drive Uber every day, and I'm like, every time I drive, I'm like, this is my vehicle. I can't believe this is my vehicle.
Hot dog.
Like it, because I've never had a vehicle with leather
And
seats.
Nick,
Mhm.
what is your vehicle?
It's a Toyota Avalon 2022 Toyota Avalon Hybrid XLE.
Wow.
It's freaking awesome.
An Avalon.
Wow.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and they quit making it in 2022, so it's one of the last.
Oh, that's cool.
And I found out through my car guy, Tony Bailey, go see him. He's awesome. That was a specially made Toyota Avalon by one of the higher ups at Toyota. Like they sometimes make a special one for themselves,
Mhm.
and then they drive that. So that was actually first owned by one of the higher ups of Toyota, and it like had some special features. I don't know what special features, but evidently it was
That's
special.
awesome, man.
That is
See, when
pretty
I
cool.
buy a car, I always go for the bottom line, bottom of the line.
Yeah.
Like the
I paid for the bottom of
no-
the line
no
and got
frills
the top
and-
of the line.
I like-
hear that? Did you hear that? I
like
paid for the
wind
bottom of the
down
line.
windows like this. You
Yeah.
gotta wind the window down, and you got to slap the lock.
Yes, I know you're
When
trying to be
that
funny right now.
Conspicuous person.
You're trying to take away from what I'm actually trying to say here. I paid for the bottom line and I got the top of the line. That's
Yeah.
how awesome Longo Toyota Prosper
That's
is.
awesome, man. Good
Yeah.
for you, Nick. I pay for the bottom line and
And
get
you
the
get
bottom
top.
line.
Yeah, you get the bottom line. Yeah. Anyway, so I think that ties in because they're not just trying to infiltrate, putting mosque everywhere.
Mhm.
They're trying to infiltrate business.
Yes.
Not just their businesses, and when it comes to these tech companies that are coming up, but also existing businesses. Because I think that Toyota place was owned by somebody else before.
Wow.
And so now it's owned by a Muslim that has ties to the Muslim mayor in Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
And now you had an experience with them and that had nothing to do with me.
Right. Yeah.
But yet it was a very similar experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went in looking at a Bronco and just wanted to test drive it. Wasn't ready to walk off the lot with it. They didn't give us the time of day. Wanted to crunch some numbers to see how much it would cost, because realistically speaking, if you want to go look at a car, you should be able to know how much you're going to pay for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Said, we're not buying it today. And they're like, all right, well, whatever.
Oh, dude, it makes me want to.
You're too blonde and you're too white.
I guess
I'm about to say the blonde had nothing
That's
to do
what
with it.
it
It was the
is.
white. Yeah.
they don't have time for me.
Man. Okay. I'm sorry you went through that.
I say I'm treated like a third world in my own state.
Oh,
Yeah. What?
we're treated like a third world
In our own.
in our own state because it's an Islamic takeover. What?
Yeah.
That just blew my mind.
They just come to me. These sayings just come to me.
Yeah. You should be a writer.
Wow.
Thank you.
By the way, Nick's a writer. He says that we don't say that he's a writer. He is a writer.
Oh,
and we've
you're
said
a writer.
it. Yeah, he is a writer. He's our staff writer at Alliance Studios. He writes screenplays. He writes novels. He's got 17 novels to his name. Now everybody knows Nick.
But I'm gonna come to Kaylee here for a turn of phrase every now and then.
Oh, a turn of phrase. Oh, I get it now. I'm
Turn of
sorry.
phrase.
I wasn't following. I'm having a hard time staying cognitive right now. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's late.
Yeah, it is late,
all right,
and I probably shouldn't have worked as much as I did today.
Yeah. So what's next for you, Kaylee? When it comes to, first of all, let me just say you're exposing a lot of corruption, and how do you think about your safety?
Well, I had a great training opportunity at the range in McKinney.
Ooh,
and
okay.
they treat you like you're their own, and they'll give you hands-on training, learn how to shoot good. So that's a priority for
What's
sure.
it called?
The range in McKinney.
Oh, that's actually the name. The
Yeah.
Range in McKinney.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's right next to Longo. Of
10 out of 10.
McKinney.
No, it's not.
What?
Is it Longo and McKinney?
No, it's in Prosper.
Oh, Prosper. I'm sorry. That joke fell flat then.
It did,
Please
yeah.
continue.
So yeah, prioritizing my safety is the biggest thing. I got 2 German Shepherds at home, so
Ooh,
don't try that.
Sweet.
I will say
Okay.
that.
All right.
Don't try anything close to that. And, we're always locked and loaded. Got to stay safe out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it.
I don't go anywhere alone, of course. I'm not going to do that. I'm a white blonde woman. I'm 5 feet tall. I'm not going to go anywhere alone.
Well, I
And
think it's important that we all submit we love our lives.
Yes.
And we want to continue living long, prosperous, productive lives.
Like we're
Agreed.
not we're
Agreed,
not
yeah.
suicidal or like
Exactly.
yeah, none of us
Like,
are suicidal.
If you find me hanging in a closet,
I love how we're
anytime
just
soon,
covering
it
all
was
of our
not
bases
me.
here.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
was not me.
I love my life. I love my family. I love my job.
For the record, we
And
all
your
love
2
our
dogs.
lives. We're
Oh, and my
not,
2 dogs.
we would never commit
Yeah.
suicide.
No.
Right.
That's all for the record. For the record.
Yeah.
If my plane crashes, something's fishy because I'm not going to get in a plane.
That's why I don't get, yeah. I didn't understand where you're going with that. Okay, so I like to ask 3 questions, and we'll close with this. I like to ask 3 questions to all of our guests just to see where they really lean. I'm pretty sure you lean or are far right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask these 3 questions because I've been told these 3 questions actually aren't politics,
Okay.
but they become politics because of the lunatic left. And when does life start?
At conception.
Boom, we're right now. Like I really want him to have a mic right now. I feel like he would have a lot to say.
He loves his anonymity.
He's like, I'll be the
That
protection
might
in
be
the background.
Mysterious man.
the wiser policy.
It might be. Second question is, how many genders are there?
2.
I love the no hesitation. And then what is woman?
Me.
That's good. All right. Yeah, that worked. That works.
So
and
good.
One last question.
Okay.
Favorite tattoo?
Ooh, either the one for my daughter or my sunflower.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? Why? Other than
I
why
like
the sunflower?
sunflowers.
Oh, it's just because you
Like
like sunflowers.
sunflowers.
Okay.
Yes.
And what
I
is
didn't-
the one for your daughter? Is that the one with writing?
Yeah, I'm not going to say her name, but yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask
It's
you.
song
what-
lyrics. It's song lyrics.
Oh, song
and-
lyrics.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Can
Fabulous.
I get your permission to do something real quick? Can I give her a compliment on her looks? I just man to man, bro. Okay, all right. I just want to give you a compliment that I could tell that you're not wearing a lot of makeup,
Mhm.
and for one, I'm gonna be like, this is how it should be. 'Cause you're You're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Without makeup.
Thank you.
And you wear it with pride, or don't wear it with pride.
Don't wear it with pride.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
I just want to say, awesome job. Way to be the example.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
it all started when like I said, I started making videos in my car when I was, doing my other job. And I didn't feel the need. Like, content nowadays is very performative.
It is,
and people
yeah.
will dress up and put the whole face of makeup on just to make like a 2-second video. And it's like, if you actually care about the stuff you're talking about and you
It
actually,
doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Oh, that's great.
People should be listening to what you're saying, not looking at your face.
You know what I can't stand, and I'm
Love it.
since she's the lonely woman that's on the show today, I'm going to just express this. What I really can't, and this is not something you do. So again, kudos to you. I can't stand it when I see a woman who is doing like Bible content, but yet her breasts are hanging out. That pisses me off. Like I want to, and this is the only time I want to comment on something, because I don't like to put comments on other videos because I get flagged a lot. But I just want to be like, hey, you don't have to do that.
Right.
Like you don't have to put your rear
your
end
mams
and
away.
Put them
the
out.
mams away.
Like put them away, and just talk about the word.
Yeah. There's a
So-
lot of classlessness going on online, TikTok, Instagram, especially with people, or including with a lot of people who talk about Christ and
It
Christianity.
pisses me off.
And I just find it ironic, or it's not ironic, it's classless. It's just so classless. So
Well,
that's my 2 cents.
okay. Can I? What church y'all go to?
Right now I go to the, am I going to dox myself if I say it?
Yeah, you don't have to.
Don't say it. Can I ask what denomination it is?
I think they're non-denominational.
Non-denom?
But they
Yeah,
definitely heavily focus on scripture.
Okay. What's your belief in speaking in tongues?
I believe it. I've never done it personally.
Okay.
I've heard people do it. I've gone to churches where they've done it.
All right, I'm going to educate you.
Okay.
If that's okay. So this is one of my biggest pet peeves. This is what
Yeah.
me and my ex-wife fought about a lot.
Mhm.
I don't know if that would be the reason why we broke up, because I think those reasons were way deeper.
Mhm.
I think when she tried to stab you with a knife, that
She
might
didn't
have been-
do that. She didn't do that. He's
Whoa.
being facetious. And what, Nick? Anyway,
You were asleep, dude.
oh yeah,
wouldn't know.
you know this?
She admitted it
Oh, she
Later.
told you in one of your sessions.
later. Yeah.
Gotcha. The reason why I wanted to bring that up, I don't know why, when it comes to like what prompted, but speaking in tongues is not what non-denom and Assembly of God and Pentecostals think it is.
Okay,
Speaking in
yeah.
tongues is absolutely a spiritual gift. It's absolutely a spiritual gift, but it is not gibberish.
It's what they do on some church services where somebody says
Right.
something over here and somebody else like interprets it.
Yeah. And
Okay.
the thing is, all they're doing is putting on a show, because 1 Corinthians 15 speaks very clearly about what speaking in tongues is. Speaking in tongues does have to have an interpreter, but it says it has to be an intelligible language. In other words, a known language.
Okay.
Okay.
That
Now,
makes sense.
when it comes to the spiritual gift of speaking in tongues, that is actually what you see in the book of Acts. What happened in the book of Acts whenever the day of Pentecostal happened?
They all started speaking in different languages?
Well,
Or
yes.
is that part of it?
No, yes. But
Okay.
what happened before that is it said the Holy Spirit descended on them like tongues of fire.
Oh, yes.
And as soon as that happened, like it landed on them, they were actually speaking in their own language, but all the different nations understood it in their language.
Okay.
So that would be like me going down to Mexico, not being able to speak a lick of Spanish, speaking in English, and they understand me in Spanish. That's a spiritual gift.
okay.
And I also believe, because I don't have this gift, that the ability to learn a language is also a spiritual gift,
Yeah, true.
because I don't have that ability.
Oh,
At all.
Gracias.
I took-
Thank you, my friend.
I took 2 years of Spanish. I didn't learn a thing other than like
So-
Allah.
Some,
Oh, yeah.
some
Oh,
people,
yeah.
some people know how to do that. I don't. I don't think God. It's just like I don't think God gave me the gift of writing songs. Like I can write jingles all day. I don't have the gift of writing songs. So I don't know why I was prompted to say that, but that's a big pet peeve of mine as well when it comes to churches and believing and speaking in tongues. It is absolutely a spiritual gift. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying people get it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you
Well, now wait a minute, Nick.
hang on, I'm not done.
What about
I'm not
what
done.
about
I'm not done.
what about
I'm not done.
dancing with snakes, dude?
Well, yeah.
What?
I knew you were going to confuse her. Pentecostals do that sometimes.
They dance with snakes.
They actually dance with snakes.
And then there was that Pentecostal preacher.
I think that's
within like the last 10 years, like 8 years ago, who got bit by a snake.
Do you know why they do that? And this is me just guessing off of assumptions of knowing the scripture and just the knowledge of them dancing with snakes.
Yeah, I know why.
Why?
Because it is a symbolic proof of the protective coverage of Christ.
They're trying to reenact what happened to Paul when they were shipwrecked. Paul was brushing around brush. He was with all the prisoners that were on the ship because it was a prisoner transfer. And you know Paul, very, very bold, very, very like Jesus is everything, which we all should be. He was getting some brush, getting some wood, and then a serpent came out and latched itself onto his hand. What did Paul do? He didn't panic. He flicked it off.
Wow.
And then all the people around him, even the tribes, were like, oh, he must be cursed. And then when they saw that it didn't affect him in any way, they thought he was a god. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to reenact the whole thing that happened to Paul because that was his trust in Jesus.
I see.
Okay, but they take it too far.
How do you dance with a snake, by the way?
You
like hold it and like.
No,
Okay. I don't know.
They have baskets of snakes on the stage, and they reach in and they grab the snakes and they go like this.
We should do a series of like how stupid churches can be.
I think that the Pentecostal church has taken a lot of flack for this because they've discovered throughout history from time to time that some of the snakes are either not poisonous or made out of rubber or things like
so
things like
it's just a show. It's a deceptive show.
It's a deceptive show. But if it is representative of that, I mean,
speaking of a deceptive show, talking about speaking in tongues,
as long as
it can actually be
not deceiving.
It can actually be linked all the way. Shut up. It can always be linked back to one tabernacle revival that happened where someone just started speaking in gibberish, and then whenever someone tried to translate what he was saying, he actually wasn't speaking anything. And then this whole movement happened because of it, and it was actually debunked as a false movement. But yet it made its way into the non-denominational and Pentecostals.
Of course.
So anyway, I'm sorry. This is why I shouldn't have caffeine in me. I should have caffeine in me whenever I start this. Anyway,
you were tired when we started.
Dude, I'm still tired.
When did you have caffeine?
Like 2 hours before.
Is it just kicking in?
No, I'm saying I should have taken more caffeine.
Oh, because it makes you talk more, or like
because it makes me more focused and aware.
Forget it. All right,
gosh,
we're done.
We're done. Okay, Kaylee, thank you for coming.
Of course.
You're always welcome back.
Thank you.
If you find out any more things, you're like, hey, I got something to share.
Okay.
Give me a call, give me a text. We'll have you on the show.
Sweet.
Hopefully I'll be a little bit more cognitive that time. We do have, by the way, we do have another special guest coming. I think it's March 10th, or maybe it's March 7th. I can't remember one of those dates. And it's the viral video that we have when it comes to the cop showing how action is always better than reaction. And he explains in the video why cops draw their guns first. And that video went 4.1 million views on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he got connected to me, and he's going to be in Texas. I'm like, bro, we got to have you on the pod.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
especially with all the ICE stuff happening recently.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It kicked back up after that started happening.
Yeah.
Like, it was at like 2 million, and then that happened and just went right back up.
It'll be good to educate people because ICE is here in Texas.
You understand that Texas has deported more people than any other state.
Really?
Yeah. Like the number is astronomically higher.
Any difference. I'm not seeing any difference in my local Costco.
Well, there's so many to begin with.
Nobody's recording it like they're recording it in Minnesota. That's why.
I remember when San Antonio became the 7th most populated city in the country.
Jeez.
This was
San Antonio?
This happened several years ago. I think it was the 7th most populated city in the country, and it's like the 15th largest geographically because of all of the Mexicans that moved in. Mexicans are one thing, Muslims are another. I'll take the lesser of two evils. Come on, Mexicans, let's cook. Let's cook some food.
All of the illegal Mexicans on the back burner right now. Still get them out. Don't get me wrong. Get them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not because they're
No, I'm consciously
trying to kill
aware
us.
of.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
they're still under the same spiritual belief as us because they're all
Yes.
mainly all
Yeah,
Catholic.
their doctrine is Catholic.
Yeah, yeah.
I can live with that easily.
Yeah.
What I can't live with is a doctrine that wants to kill me because I'm not of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Last thing to leave on. Your thoughts about Bad Bunny?
Ooh. Ooh. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I gotta say, I watched both at the same time so I could analyze them.
oh, sweet.
Because I really wanted to have like the full picture of what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that I've seen circulating on X, I didn't see. I guess it's because I was going back and forth. But like people on Twitter are talking about people on X are talking about how, he glorified a real marriage and there was, family values. Yeah, because somebody had their wedding there. But then you go to a different clip and you've got women grinding on women and men grinding on men.
Yeah.
And then they're all running
Yeah.
around with all the different flags. Try to just run with a flag, like the American flag.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then the analysis of the lyrics that we're saying. Some people are like, well, that song wasn't even sung. I can't even read to you the lyrics of one of the songs that was allegedly sung. It's how are we supposed to know? They're all in Spanish to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's crazy. When they said a couple months ago that Bad Bunny was going to be the halftime show, I heard Bad Money. And I was like, oh, sweet. Like, they're a 70s classic rock band. I was like, sweet. All right, come on, Bad Bunny. Let's
What's
go.
more American? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and then I discovered a couple days later I was wrong. And I'd never heard of Bad Bunny. I don't know anything about him. To this day,
It's ridiculous.
it's
It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's like a
have
trend.
no interest.
I don't know if it's my generation, but like I've known people in the past who they just like embrace Mexican music, even though they're not Mexican. And it's like, okay, but like,
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah.
So let me
Z?
give you a scenario.
Are you Gen Z?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. She's Gen Z.
99.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you're beginning Gen Z. You're like one of the first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does that make me like the oldest Gen Z?
You're
Like right on
you're
the
a
cusp?
prime Gen Z.
Oh.
Gen Z prime.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to give you a scenario. We can close on this. And I know I've said that several times already, and we've talked about other things. But this just happened. So yesterday I woke up because the night of the Super Bowl, my girlfriend at that time, she's Hispanic. She lives in California, and she actually likes Bad Bunny, but we hadn't had that conversation yet. So whenever the Super Bowl happened, I made a video that did really well. It's got like over 300,000 views, saying how much I love TPUSA's halftime show. I loved it. He was confused when it comes to that halftime show. But anyway, it was a great halftime show.
Yeah, I wasn't confused. It was confusing.
He was confused.
I liked the metaphor that I don't know if it's a metaphor, but how they showed Kid Rock as Kid Rock and then they played the hymn and then they showed him as his, birth name and then he sang the song. Like that shows.
Oh, is that what that was? His birth name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what confused
Richie
me. I was
something?
like, but the song he sang was a completely different artist's hit.
Yeah, it was by Cody Johnson.
Cody Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is he singing a Cody Johnson song, as it turns out, being introduced as this other person when it's really just Kid Rock because he just played as Kid Rock?
Because
Y'all
it
don't
was,
find this confusing? 'Cause
No, I
did.
didn't.
It was
I was
him-
entertained.
It was him showing that Jesus saved and changed his life, and so that he was able to express what he went through when Jesus transformed him into his own person, as opposed to having a stage name. Who he was as his stage name is not who he is now.
All right. I'm on board with that as long as he lives that way.
Yes.
Is Kid Rock dead? And now he's going to be move on as like the artist formerly known as?
That's a good question.
Because if not,
Yeah, people had a lot of questions about his, and I'm not gonna like not acknowledge the other side. He has some lyrics in his songs too that are not good.
Yeah.
So
Oh, believe me, we've been getting those comments
yes,
All
in
over
that
left
video,
wing.
left and right. But
Yeah.
that's the great thing about the saving grace of Jesus, that it covers all of it. So the scenario, since you're the only woman here, I want to put the scenario in front of you. I told her that night, because she came at me, we were being all lovey-dovey, and then just out of the blue, she's like, "You piss me off sometimes." And I'm like, "Well, what just happened?" And so she saw my video. And she's like, "Nick, I don't understand why you can't like Bad Bunny." I'm like, in my household, when we get married, Bad Bunny will not be listened to. And she didn't like, she's like, "What the F?" I was like, "I'm sorry. If you don't like that, there's the door." And she said that the next morning, and I read it off to Nick. She's like, Nick, I can't get over this. So I'm like, all right, understood. Have a good life. And so we broke up because I laid it down a boundary that someone who supports trans ideology, who hates America and doesn't love Jesus, isn't going to be listened to in my household.
Yeah.
So
I stand by that.
Good. You stand by that? Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a boundary in our household. So
there you go. There you go.
that should be the bare minimum. You know?
I didn't think that. I felt like I didn't think I was asking for too much, but I felt like she felt like I was asking for too much, and she said something to the nature of, "I feel like you're trying to erase where I come from." I'm like, that's not it at all. There's plenty of Christian artists that live in El Salvador.
Yeah.
So listen to them.
Yeah.
Like it's not that hard. So anyway, I say that to vent.
Wow.
I started my own podcast, so I can do that.
She's like obsessed with Bad Bunny enough to like idolize him, and wow.
I don't think.
Now, if somebody told me I couldn't listen to One Direction, that's a whole different story. I'd probably have to draw the line too.
Oh, now we can have a conversation.
I'm a directioner. I gotta live by it for the rest of my life.
Metallica.
That can be our to be continued. One Direction and Metallica. Should you listen to them as a Christian? Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Kaylee.
Thank you for
Nick's
having
Right
me.
podcast, where Nick is always right. Kaylee was right probably majority of the time tonight. So we appreciate you coming
Every
on.
now and then it happens.
It does happen.
So,
Patriot Mobile. PatriotMobile.com/NRP. Get your free month. Live Audio, LIVV Audio. Put in the code NRP, get a 15% discount. You want to
100%. Anytime Fitness, Hall Johnson Road, just west of 121. Come see me.
He said what?
He said Hall.
Hall.
I'm sorry. Hal Johnson Road. A couple blocks west of 121. Come see me. I'll get you $89 right off the top for no sign up fee. $10 or 10% on the monthlies, and I'll cut you a pretty good deal on some sessions too if you want a personal trainer. So.
All right.
Anytime
So
Fitness.
thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Lord Jesus, thank you for this time that we've had. I ask that you will make every moment that we've had here go viral for your glory and for your kingdom. Please, Lord, I ask that you would wake up the minds of your people to what's going on right in front of our faces, that you would give us the know-how, the knowledge, and the action that we need to take to not only stand up for our country, but actually for you. And in the process, these people would actually come to know you and turn away from Islam. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Hey, guys.
Thank you.